The role of an employment standards officer is to conduct investigations on claims filed by employees who believe their entitlements under the Act have not been paid. The second role is to conduct workplace inspections to ensure the employer is complying with 11 core standards under the Employment Standards Act.
This includes posting the employment standards poster in the workplace, wage statements, unauthorized deductions, record keeping, hours of work, eating periods, overtime pay, minimum wage, public holidays, vacation pay, and temporary help agencies charging fees to employees.
I'm Maureen Sands. I'm an Employment Standards Officer with the Ministry of Labor. Before an inspection takes place, we have to do a number of preparatory items. We check the legal name of a business, we check whether or not it is still active, we'll look at any claims history or an inspections history, and we'll also want to check whether or not it's a unionized environment. We do not go into a unionized environment. They have their own grievance process to follow. Traditionally, we give employers up to 10 days notice in writing of the inspection date. Gives the employer an opportunity to get the records in place and on site. During an inspection, the Employment Standards Officer will take a look at a number of records. Schedules, timesheets, payroll ledgers, wage statements, these kinds of documents. The notice that we send out to employers regarding the inspection also indicates important information about the Employment Standards poster. It also provides a link to the Ministry of Labor website, which provides tools such as the employer's workbook.
The procedure for a workplace inspection is to arrive at the employer's place of business, to meet the employer who's going to be participating in the inspection.
Excuse me.
Hi.
I'm Alan Strojan. I'm an Employment Standards Officer with the Ministry of Labor.
Okay.
I'm here to conduct a payroll examination of your inspection of your records. Is there somewhere we could talk briefly before I begin? Okay, sure.
And then to bring in the various documents that are going to be relied on, one of which is a questionnaire that the employer will go through with me and provide answers. At the conclusion of the employer's interview, I will then ask the employer to show me where in the workplace they have the employment standards poster posted. And I'll make sure that it's the correct poster and it's properly visible in a conspicuous place for the employees to see. And I will review the employer's records to try to randomly choose from the employees that are available on the work site that particular day.
As part of our inspection today, we need to interview a couple of employees, and you were randomly selected for an interview.
Great.
Do you have a few minutes to speak
Absolutely.
to me? Okay, come with me.
If I'm in a workplace and I have some reason to believe that there's not going to be adequate privacy to properly interview employees, I will make that known to the employer that I require a place that's comfortable and that's isolated from the rest of the workforce or the work environment. During the inspection, some documents are going to be required from the employer to prove the various core standards are being complied with. The test audit involves the selection of payroll records for about a 1 to 3 month period for randomly selected employees to make calculations to ensure that they're getting paid the minimum standards. Upon conclusion of the test audit, if I find there's compliance with all 11 standards, then I will issue an inspection report and outline the steps that I took and the findings that I made. The file then is submitted for closure and it's coded and closed.
If it is found that an employer has contravened the Employment Standards Act, the employer may agree to conduct a self-audit for a set period of time. If the employer refuses to do so or is unable to do so, the Employment Standards Officer may then conduct a full audit.
If it's determined that the employer has a history of contravention or it's a severe violation of the Act, then I will be issuing a ticket under Part 1 of the Provincial Offences Act or a notice of contravention.
So when the self-audit and the full audit are completed, the employer is asked to voluntarily comply and correct any of the issues that were identified during the inspection. If there's any monetary amounts that are outstanding to employees, it's asked that those monies be paid out over the next 2 pay periods.
If the employer declines that offer, I will then move to issue an order to pay wages for the amount or the value of the money that's outstanding. And in difficult cases, we may also consider prosecution.
When the inspection is completed, the officer will provide the employer with an inspection report, which is required to be posted.
And the employer must file with the Ministry of Labour a notification of compliance, indicating the dates upon which compliance has been achieved.
At this point, the inspection is closed, but the employer can be identified for a re-inspection at a later date.
For more information on the Employment Standards Act and employers and employee rights and responsibilities, please visit our website.